Has it ever felt like your life is just one endless battle? As challenges keep piling up, criticisms ring in your ears, and you're left wondering, is there any way to find peace in this chaotic whirlwind? How do you turn that pain, those failures, into a launching pad for your true strength, instead of letting them drown you? And more importantly, how do you become the most resilient version of yourself? Someone who can maintain absolute self-control, no matter what life throws your way. Welcome everyone to my channel. Today, we're embarking on a profound journey, a life-changing experience where you'll learn how to cultivate inner strength, master self-control, and transform every challenge into an opportunity for growth. This isn't just a video, it's a clarion call, an invitation for you to awaken the incredible potential that lies within you. We're going to start this journey by exploring the pain and adversity we encounter in life. Through that, we'll discover the hidden power in silence and our ability to control our emotions. However, the most important thing is to realize that overreacting is the real enemy, the one that holds us back from rising to our full potential. We'll learn the art of letting go of what doesn't matter so we can focus on what truly does. To do that, we need to practice restraint and proactively face the tough stuff, the discomforts in life. When we achieve this, we'll possess an invisible power, a calmness like a mountain, unshakable by anything. One of the most crucial lessons is to stop craving understanding and validation from others. Instead, we'll realize that the ability to experience everything without letting it control us is a priceless asset, more valuable than money or status. This is the key to protecting ourselves and building an unshakable inner world. Once we've mastered calmness and self-control, we'll know how to let time speak for itself, choosing dignity instead of getting caught up in gossip. We'll also transform fear into strength, viewing rejection as a tool to build an unbreakable self. The pinnacle of self-mastery is the ability to rise without needing to speak, acting silently but powerfully. And finally, we'll learn to stop explaining ourselves to small minds, to navigate every storm without leaving ashes, like water adapting and flowing endlessly. Napoleon Hill, who dedicated his life to studying the world's most successful people, once said, "True power is revealed when you are tested, not when everything is smooth." What does that mean? It means you can't discover your limits. You can't know how strong you are until you're pushed into the most challenging situations. Just like an athlete can't break records by only training in their comfort zone. So, now that we understand pain is part of the process, the question is, how do we face it? How do we keep from being swept away by those waves? In the next section, we'll dive deep into one of the most potent secrets of successful people: the power of silence and the ability to control your emotions. This is the foundation for building indomitable inner strength, helping you face adversity with absolute calm and courage. Have you ever noticed that in an increasingly noisy and chaotic world, the people who genuinely have influence, the ones who truly master their lives, are often the quietest? They don't rush to react. They don't let their emotions control their actions. They choose silence deliberately. This isn't a sign of weakness, but rather an extraordinary display of inner strength. Napoleon Hill, through his studies of exceptional individuals, recognized a core truth. True power lies not in noisy reactions, but in the ability to remain calm, control your emotions, and deliberately choose silence. Imagine this: when someone intentionally insults you, says harsh words, or acts provocatively, they're hoping for a reaction from you. They want to see you angry, frustrated, or lose your composure. That's how they try to control you, try to hurt you. But when you choose silence, when you maintain your composure, you strip them of their power. You refuse to be a puppet in their play. You spectacularly neutralize their attack. This helps you avoid being harmed by negative words or actions from others. They shoot an arrow at you, but you either dodge it or let it pass by without touching your soul. That's the power of self-control. Think about Abraham Lincoln. During the tumultuous Civil War, he faced countless criticisms, insults, and even betrayal from within his ranks. The pressure on his shoulders was immense, but Lincoln rarely lost his temper or reacted harshly. He maintained an incredibly calm demeanor, listened to every opinion, even the most negative ones, and then made decisions thoughtfully. His silence and emotional control helped him make the wisest policy decisions even during the darkest times in American history. That's the power of absolute self-control, a strength that few possess. Or consider the story of Warren Buffett. He's a legendary investor, renowned for his patient investment philosophy and his ability to remain unflappable in the face of short-term market fluctuations. When the market panicked, when everyone rushed to sell off stocks in fear, Buffett remained remarkably calm. He didn't react with the crowd. He didn't let fear or greed dictate his actions. He quietly observed and only acted when there was an obvious opportunity. He could precisely control his emotions and remain silent amidst the market's noise, which helped him achieve immense success. He didn't let external factors hurt or shake his convictions. Napoleon Hill taught that, when insulted or pressured, silence is the most powerful response. It's more powerful than any argument or explanation, because when you're silent, you not only show the other person that their words do not affect you, but you also give yourself time to think, to analyze the situation objectively. You don't get caught in a whirlwind of negative emotions. Silence creates a space, a void, where you can truly take control of the situation. Practice this every day, even in the smallest situations. Instead of rushing to reply to an annoying email, take a deep breath and think first. Instead of reacting immediately to a negative comment, give yourself a few seconds to stay calm. You'll be surprised at how much better you control your life. You'll find yourself becoming so much stronger when you're no longer controlled by your emotions or those of others. The power of silence and emotional control isn't innate. It's a skill that needs to be trained, just like exercising, to have a healthy body. The more you practice, the calmer, steadier, and more unshakable you'll become. This is a priceless asset, more important than money or status, because it brings you inner peace and true power over your life. Now that we hold the power of silence and emotional control in our hands, a natural question arises. If we don't react instantly, then how should we respond? Or rather, do we need to respond to everything at all? In the next part, we'll dive deeper into another powerful truth from Napoleon Hill. Reaction is the real enemy. We'll learn how to detach ourselves from external circumstances and understand that true power lies in how you choose to react, not in the event itself. Have you ever wondered why, when the same thing happens, some people completely fall apart while others stand firm and even become more resilient? The difference isn't in the event itself, it's in how they react to it. This is one of the most invaluable lessons Napoleon Hill learned from wildly successful individuals. He pointed out, it's not the insult that hurts you, but your reaction to it. Imagine it this way: an insult, an adverse action, or any bad event in life. They're like an arrow. That arrow is shot from the outside. If you let it hit your heart, your mind, and you start getting angry, sad, or frustrated, that's when you've allowed that arrow to hurt you. But if you're strong enough not to receive it, to let it glide past without touching you, then that arrow has no power at all. You've transformed yourself into an invincible warrior. A crucial truth you need to engrave in your mind is this: you can't control the world, but you can control your reaction. You can't control what others say about you, what they do to you, or the unexpected events that happen in your life. A global pandemic, an economic recession, or a personal crisis. These are all things beyond your control. But you have complete power over how you choose to face them. That's the only power, and the most incredible power, you possess. Look at the story of Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychologist and Holocaust survivor. He went through the most horrific things imaginable: losing his family, starvation, illness, and both physical and mental torture. Everything external was stripped from him, from freedom to dignity. But Frankl discovered a profound truth. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way. Even in the worst possible circumstances, Frankl maintained control of his reaction. He didn't let his circumstances turn him into a puppet of despair. He chose to find meaning in his suffering and decided to preserve his dignity. He could precisely separate himself from external circumstances and completely control his internal reaction, which helped him survive and later become one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century. That's the most powerful proof that you are not a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your reaction. When you truly internalize this philosophy, something miraculous happens. You begin to believe that nothing can defeat you, and tremendous obstacles suddenly become small and easier to overcome. It's like facing a wall. If you think you can climb over it, that wall won't be scary anymore. The wall does not threaten you. Your fear threatens you. Napoleon Hill consistently emphasized the importance of self-belief. When you eliminate the belief that the outside world can hurt you if you don't allow it, you'll unleash a tremendous amount of energy. That energy is no longer wasted on worry, fear, or anger. It will be transformed into power to act, to find solutions, to rise. You'll no longer be a puppet pulled by external situations. Instead, you'll become the one controlling the game, the master of your destiny. Practice this every single day. Every time you face an uncomfortable situation, pause and reflect on it. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, how am I going to react to this? Do I want to allow it to hurt me? Or will I choose to maintain control and turn it into a lesson? The choice is entirely in your hands. And when you master that choice, you'll master your entire life. Now that we understand our reaction is the key, and we can separate ourselves from harmful external influences, another question naturally arises. If not everything is worth our reaction, then what truly matters? Our energy and time are finite, so what should we dedicate them to? In the next section, we will explore an efficient lesson from Napoleon Hill's philosophy. Ignoring what doesn't matter and focusing your energy on what truly counts. This is the key to optimizing your life, directing all your efforts toward your biggest goals. Earlier, we dove into a powerful truth. Reaction is the real enemy. We learned how to detach ourselves from harmful external influences and master our responses. Once you understand that not everything deserves a reaction, a natural question arises. If our energy and time are limited, what should we focus them on? Today, we're going to delve into an efficient lesson from Napoleon Hill's philosophy, focusing on what truly matters and channeling your energy accordingly. Have you ever found yourself getting dragged into pointless arguments on social media? Or spending hours worrying about someone's thoughtless remarks? Or trying to explain yourself to people who don't want to understand you? If so, you're not alone. Modern life is full of noise, distractions, and things constantly demanding your attention. But I want you to ingrain a truly valuable lesson that Napoleon Hill observed from the most successful people. Not every word or action is worth your concern. This philosophy may seem simple, but it's challenging to put into practice. Our brains tend to react to everything, especially negative stuff. But every time you spend energy, no matter how small, worrying about an unprovoked criticism, a false rumor, or an endless debate, you're wasting a precious resource, your energy and focus. Napoleon Hill always emphasized the importance of having a definite chief aim. When you have a clear goal, it's easy to see what serves that goal and what's just a distraction. He observed that the most significant successes, like Henry Ford or Thomas Edison, never let themselves get caught up in petty wars or pointless arguments. Instead, they focused their energy on what mattered and what would build them up. They directed all their efforts toward developing their ideas, products, or vision. Take Henry Ford, for example. When he started with the idea of producing affordable cars for everyone, he faced skepticism, ridicule, and even harsh criticism from traditional car manufacturers. They said his idea was crazy, that people would never buy a car like that. But Ford didn't care about those words. He didn't waste time or energy arguing with them. He knew who he was, and he had a clear vision of his goals. He focused all his energy on researching, developing efficient production processes, and creating the car he believed in. By ignoring what didn't matter and focusing on his big goal, he revolutionized the automotive industry and changed the world. Another aspect of ignoring what doesn't matter is that you don't need approval or validation from others. Napoleon Hill taught that the strong person knows who they are. They don't need approval from others. Seeking approval from everyone is a dangerous trap. It will cause you to lose your self-control, making you easily swayed by others' opinions. When you live for applause, you'll forever be a prisoner of external expectations. Think about Oprah Winfrey. Throughout her career, she faced numerous prejudices and criticisms about her appearance, past, and personal choices. But Oprah never let those things distract her from her mission, which was to inspire, uplift, and empower millions of people. She knew her worth. She didn't need approval from those who only sought to tear her down. She focused on building a meaningful media empire, letting her results speak for themselves. She wisely chose what was worth caring about and what to ignore. So, learn to practice choosing what's worth caring about. Ask yourself, is this truly important for my long-term goal? Does it help me grow, or is it just a waste of energy? If the answer is no, then let it go bravely. That's not apathy. That's innovative management of your most valuable resources, your time, energy, and focus. When you free yourself from the burden of what doesn't matter, you'll have more space and energy to focus on what truly builds you up and brings you closer to the greatest version of yourself. Remember, life's too short to waste on pointless battles. Choose your battles wisely. Now that we've learned to eliminate distractions and focus on what's essential, a necessary next step to building inner strength is to confront what makes us uncomfortable head-on. Sounds paradoxical, right? But actively stepping out of your comfort zone and facing discomfort is the key to training your willpower and resilience. In the next section, we will dive into the lesson of practicing restraint and facing discomfort. This is how you turn challenges into opportunities for growth, to become stronger than ever before. You know, modern life is designed to keep us always in our comfort zone, always surrounded by ease. We've got fast food, easy entertainment, and 1,000 ways to avoid dealing with things we don't want to face. But Napoleon Hill pointed out an undeniable truth. Practice self-control in small, daily situations to build the ability to remain calm when facing bigger challenges. Self-control isn't just about not saying harsh words when you're angry, or not overspending when you have money. It's also the ability to control yourself in the smallest desires, the daily temptations. You can start with something as simple as waking up 15 minutes earlier every day, even if you want to hit the snooze button. Not mindlessly scrolling through social media, even if your phone is right next to you, or eating a healthy meal instead of the junk food you're craving. Every time you conquer a small desire, you're building a new muscle for your willpower. And these willpower muscles will help you stay calm when facing much bigger challenges in life. Look at great people like Elon Musk. He's not just a genius innovator. He's also a master at dealing with discomfort. When he founded SpaceX and Tesla, he faced countless failures, doubts from investors, extreme exhaustion, and immense financial pressure. The public constantly discussed, criticized, and even mocked his crazy ideas. But Elon Musk didn't shy away from that discomfort. He didn't avoid facing the risk of bankruptcy or harsh criticism. He actively sought out discomfort to train himself and become stronger. He accepted working 100 hours a week, faced seemingly impossible technical challenges, and ventured into areas no one else dared to try. For him, every difficulty wasn't a signal to stop, but an opportunity to show perseverance and character. It was through constantly pushing himself out of his comfort zone that Elon Musk turned the impossible into the possible, revolutionized multiple industries, and inspired millions. Napoleon Hill discovered that the key to overcoming every obstacle lies in developing self-confidence. And this confidence doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's built through the times you overcome fear, face discomfort, and prove to yourself that you can do it. Think about the small things that make you uncomfortable every day. It could be public speaking, waking up early to exercise, or having a difficult conversation. Instead of avoiding them, actively seek out those situations. You don't have to do huge things right away. Start with small doses of discomfort. Gradually, you'll find yourself becoming tougher, more stable under pressure. Fear will slowly disappear, and your self-confidence will increase exponentially. When you practice self-control, you're building a strong fortress around your soul. When you actively face discomfort, you're turning the monsters in your mind into friends that help you grow. You'll no longer tremble at uncomfortable things. Instead, you'll see them as tests, as opportunities to prove your mettle. Remember, no one can become the greatest version of themselves by living in a permanent comfort zone. True strength is forged through fire, through challenges, and through the times you bravely step into the land of discomfort. Once we've learned to practice self-control and actively face discomfort, we'll gradually develop a mighty state of mind, calmness. In a world that's always in flux, calmness isn't just a virtue, it's a superpower. In the next section, we'll explore the power of calmness in more depth and learn how to act like a mountain, still yet unshakable. This is the key to seeing things more clearly and making the wisest decisions, no matter the circumstances. You know, doesn't it feel like modern life is just getting faster and more stressful? From constant news alerts and work pressure to endless online arguments, we're constantly surrounded by noise and chaos. Our minds rarely get moments of true quiet, and it's in this environment that calmness becomes a priceless asset. Napoleon Hill, who spent his whole life studying people who reached the pinnacle of success, discovered a common trait among them: the ability to stay calm under pressure. He observed that the person who keeps a calm mind sees things more clearly and makes wiser decisions. Imagine this: When a lake is calm, you can see everything clearly at the bottom. But when the lake is stirred up, everything becomes blurry, distorted. Our minds are the same way. When it's calm, you'll have the clarity to see the true nature of a problem, analyze your options, and make optimal decisions. Look at the life of Mahatma Gandhi. He led a non-violent revolution to gain independence for India, facing brutal oppression, violence, and insults from the colonial government. Millions of Indians trusted him. The pressure on his shoulders was immense, but Gandhi always maintained incredible calm. He didn't fall into a spiral of anger or hatred. He always kept a calm mind to make strategic decisions, rallying the strength of the masses through nonviolence. That very calmness helped him become a symbol of willpower, inspiring millions and ultimately leading to his country's independence. It's powerful proof that strength lies in a steady, quiet, yet unshakable presence. Or think about brilliant business leaders during a crisis. When a company faces bankruptcy or the market collapses, the ones who stay calm are the ones who guide the ship through the storm. They don't panic, they don't blame others, and they don't make hasty decisions based on emotion. Instead, they take a deep breath, analyze the situation objectively, and devise clear solutions. That's the power of a calm mind. Napoleon Hill taught that to achieve this calmness, we need to cultivate stillness and remain unaffected by external factors. This requires daily practice. You can start with deep breathing exercises or meditating for a few minutes each day. Take time to listen to yourself, to detach from the outside noise. Learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. It's like a mountain. No matter how strong the wind blows, no matter how fierce the snowstorm, the hill stands there, steady and unmoving. It doesn't react to the weather. It simply exists. We can train our minds to be like that as well. When you face criticism, work pressure, or a personal crisis, try to remain calm and composed, like a mountain. Hold your ground, keep your mind relaxed, and don't let anything external shake you from your goals and values. When you can do this, you'll discover an extraordinary source of inner strength. You'll no longer be caught in a whirlwind of negative emotions. You'll be able to make wiser decisions because you're seeing everything clearly, without the fog of emotion clouding your judgment. You'll become your leader, someone who can navigate their life no matter what happens around them. Calmness isn't indifference. It's active. It's a choice. It's the ability to keep your mind and your will steady in any circumstance. And that's the secret to becoming the strongest, most serene version of yourself. Once we've achieved this inner calm, once we can stand firm like a mountain in any storm, another vital lesson will become clear. That's realizing that we don't need everyone to understand or validate us to succeed and live happily. Being too dependent on others' approval can be a considerable burden. In the next section, we'll explore the lesson of stopping the need to be understood and validated. This is the key to freeing yourself, focusing on consistent action, and letting your results speak for themselves. Last time, we explored the incredible power of calmness, the ability to remain steady like a mountain in every storm. Once you achieve that inner stillness, a crucial next lesson will become clear, helping you truly be free. That's stopping the need to be understood and validated. This is the key to freeing yourself, focusing on consistent action, and letting your results speak for themselves. Have you ever spent too much time and energy trying to explain yourself to others? Do you feel exhausted constantly having to prove your worth? Or trying to make everyone understand your intentions and actions? If so, you're not alone. This is a trap many of us fall into. We crave understanding, We crave validation. And sometimes that craving becomes an invisible chain. Napoleon Hill, through his extensive research, pointed out that trying to get everyone to understand you can lead to a loss of clarity and control. When you're overly concerned with what others think of you, you'll begin to adjust your actions, words, and even thoughts to fit external expectations. You'll become a version of yourself that others want to see, not your true self. And that, you know, is a massive loss of self-control. Look at the story of Steve Jobs. When he introduced the first iPhone in 2007, many people were skeptical. Tech analysts, experts, and even competitors all thought it was a product with no future. They didn't understand Jobs' vision. He could have spent years explaining his idea, trying to convince one person at a time. But Jobs didn't do that. He didn't try to make everyone understand him immediately. He focused on consistent action, building the product, refining it, and having absolute faith in his vision. Jobs let the results speak for themselves. He let his products and innovations prove their worth. And we all know what the result was. The iPhone completely changed the way we live, work, and communicate. That's powerful proof that you don't need to go to great lengths to explain yourself to small minds, to people who have decided not to understand you. You need to focus on creating value, and your achievements will be the strongest answer. Another aspect of this is that seeking approval from others will make you lose your self-control. This is an expensive addiction that Napoleon Hill warned about. When you crave approval from others, you'll do anything to get it. You'll sacrifice your principles, compromise your values, and even do things against your conscience just to get a compliment, a nod of approval. Think about Michael Jordan. He's a basketball legend, but not everyone loved him. He was criticized for his fierce competitiveness, for sometimes not getting along with teammates. The media scrutinized his every move, but Jordan never tried to change himself to please his critics. He focused on being true to himself, on practicing hard, and on becoming the best player he could be. He didn't need approval from everyone to be great. He just needed his own approval and belief in his own abilities. When you free yourself from the need to be understood and validated, you'll find incredible freedom. You'll no longer waste energy justifying, explaining, or seeking praise. Instead, you'll direct all your focus toward pursuing excellence in your work, in your life, and in your personal development. This is a philosophy that needs daily practice. Every time you feel the urge to explain, to justify, just pause. Ask yourself, is this really necessary? Does it serve my goal? Or am I trying to seek approval? Gradually, you'll learn to trust your own judgment, your own worth, and the path you've chosen. When you no longer need validation from others, you become invulnerable. You become completely self-controlled, someone who lives by their own principles, unshaken by any external factors. That's the pinnacle of inner strength. Once we've freed ourselves from the burden of needing to be understood and validated, we'll step into a higher level of self-mastery, the ability to completely control our own emotional world. This isn't just a skill, it's a priceless asset, an unparalleled source of inner strength. In the next section, we'll explore in more depth how controlling your emotions is the greatest asset you can possess. This is the key to feeling everything but not being controlled by it, to truly mastering your life. Last time, we explored the liberating experience of no longer needing to be understood and validated. We learned how to focus on consistent action and let our results speak for themselves. Once you've achieved that freedom, a higher level of power emerges, the ability to completely master your emotional world. Today, we're going to dig deep into realizing that emotional control is the greatest asset you can possess. Have you ever seen someone at the peak of their career, with money and status, yet a minor emotional incident could cause them to collapse completely? Or conversely, someone who has nothing, but thanks to their incredible emotional control, they can overcome all adversity and achieve resounding success? This reveals an undeniable truth. The ability to feel everything without being controlled by it is a priceless asset, more important than money or status. Napoleon Hill, through his meticulous studies of hundreds of the most successful people in history, concluded that the ability to control emotions is one of the most decisive factors in achieving complete success and happiness. He observed that the person who controls their inner world will control the outer world. Imagine it this way: your mind is a ship and emotions are raging waves. If you let those waves control you, your boat will be swept away, lose direction, and could sink at any moment. But if you're a steady captain who knows how to steer the wheel, you can overcome any storm and guide your ship to its destination. Look at the life of Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison, facing extreme injustice, racial segregation, and calls for hatred from both sides. Anyone else might have been filled with bitterness, anger, and despair. But Mandela did something extraordinary. He completely controlled his emotions. He didn't let suffering, imprisonment, or hatred turn him into a vengeful person. Instead, he used his time in prison to learn and to develop a vision for a peaceful, non-racial South Africa. He chose forgiveness over hatred, reconciliation over revenge. It was precisely his ability to feel everything: the pain, the loss, the injustice, but not be controlled by it, that helped him become one of the most outstanding leaders in the world, a symbol of hope and peace. His greatest asset wasn't power or status in prison. It was his emotional self-mastery. Or in the business world, consider leading tech founders like Satya Nadella of Microsoft. When he took over as CEO, Microsoft was facing many challenges and skepticism. The pressure was immense, but Nadella didn't let anxiety or fear control him. He cultivated the ability to control his emotions, to listen, to learn, and to make strategic decisions based on data and a long-term vision, not on emotional reactions to negative information. It was his calmness and emotional control that helped him bring Microsoft back to its leading position. Napoleon Hill taught that, to achieve this emotional control, we need to have a definite chief aim and a positive mental attitude. When you know precisely what you want, and you maintain an optimistic, steadfast attitude, negative emotions will have a hard time creeping in and controlling you. You can't stop emotions from appearing, but you can control how you react to them and the extent to which you allow them to affect you. Practice this every day. Every time you feel angry, frustrated, or anxious, pause. Don't rush to act on that emotion. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, does this emotion serve my goal? Am I letting it control me? Gradually, you'll learn to observe your emotions like clouds drifting across the sky. They come and go, and you don't need to cling to them. The ability to control your emotions is an invisible form of power, but its impact is incredibly tangible. It brings you inner peace, mental clarity, and the ability to make good decisions, even in the most stressful situations. When you control your inner world, you'll find yourself able to control the outer world as well. This is the most valuable asset that no amount of money or status can buy. Now that we've realized the ultimate power of emotional control, another question arises. If emotions are an asset, are there times we need to protect that asset? Are there invisible thieves, who want to exploit our emotions to hurt us? In the next section, we'll explore a vital lesson for protecting your inner strength, not revealing your weaknesses, and safeguarding your inner world. This is the key to maintaining your invulnerability against prying eyes and ill intentions. Previously, we examined the extraordinary importance of emotional control, considering it the most significant asset one can possess. We learned how to feel everything, but not be controlled by it. Now that you've grasped that inner strength, another crucial aspect of self-mastery will emerge: the ability to not reveal your weaknesses and protect your inner world. This is the key to maintaining your invulnerability against prying eyes and ill intentions. Have you ever felt the need to share all your sorrows, failures, and vulnerabilities with everyone? Or are there times when, even if you're falling apart inside, you try to project an image of strength on the outside, but deep down, you're afraid someone will see through it and exploit that weakness? This is a double-edged sword. Sharing can help you gain empathy, but if it's with the wrong person at the wrong time, it can become a vulnerability for others to exploit. Napoleon Hill, through his meticulous studies of outstanding individuals, realized that learn to control your expressions and not reveal your wounds to those who are unworthy. This doesn't mean you have to become cold or emotionless. It means you have to be smart. You must distinguish between who is trustworthy enough to share with and who might exploit your weaknesses. Look at the story of Abraham Lincoln once more. Throughout his turbulent life and political career, especially during the Civil War, Lincoln faced countless attacks, distortions, and attempts to undermine him from all sides. Political opponents constantly tried to dig up dirt, criticize, and even defame him. They wanted to see him crumble, lose his composure, or reveal his weaknesses. But Lincoln didn't do that. He was a master of emotional control. Even if he was troubled inside, he always maintained a calm, resolute demeanor outwardly. He didn't let criticism or pressure shake his spirit. He didn't let anger, frustration, or fear show. By not reacting emotionally to provocations, he regained control of the situation. His opponents became powerless because they couldn't provoke him or distract him from his course. It was thanks to this incredible self-control that he became stronger, focusing on his great mission without being distracted by external noise. This is a vital lesson. Protect your inner world. Your mind and your emotions are your most valuable assets, and you must be their guardian. Don't let anyone casually step in and disrupt things. This doesn't mean you have to live isolated or not trust anyone. It means you have to be aware. You need to know who deserves your trust and your honesty and who doesn't. Think about Warren Buffett again. Even though he's one of the wealthiest people in the world and often appears in public, Buffett is extremely private about his personal life and emotions. He doesn't let stock market fluctuations or media comments affect his inner calm or investment decisions. He has an obvious circle of competence, and he only focuses on what he truly understands. External noise cannot penetrate his inner world and break his discipline. It was his discretion and ability to protect his mind from distractions that helped him maintain a long-term vision and make wise decisions. Napoleon Hill taught that, to succeed, you need a mastermind, which means associating with like-minded people who share your goals. But he also emphasized the importance of protecting your mind from negative influences. If you constantly reveal your vulnerabilities to people with bad intentions, you're opening the door for them to attack you. So, practice controlling your expressions. Learn to maintain a calm face, even when you're going through a storm inside. This isn't about hiding, it's about protecting. It helps you avoid unnecessary harm and maintain control of the situation. When you don't react to provocations, you not only throw your opponents off balance, but you also strengthen your inner power. You show that you are the master of your emotions, not their slave. Remember, your inner world is a fortress. You are the guard. Don't let anyone unworthy invade and cause harm. When you protect your inner world, you'll become more resilient, more invulnerable, and stronger than ever before. That's how you truly master your life. Once we've learned to protect our inner world and not reveal our weaknesses, a final lesson will solidify our entire journey of building inner strength. That's realizing that not every problem needs to be solved immediately, and not every word needs to be answered. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in patience, in the ability to let time and your actions speak for themselves. In the next section, we'll explore the secret of allowing time to talk and choosing dignity over gossip. This is the key to building lasting value and avoiding pointless arguments. Last time, we delved into the importance of not revealing our weaknesses and protecting our inner world. We learned how to master our emotions and avoid being hurt by negative words or actions. Now that you've built that solid inner strength, a final lesson will solidify this entire journey. It's about letting time speak and choosing dignity over gossip. This is the key to building lasting value and avoiding pointless arguments. Have you ever felt yourself getting sucked into endless debates where everyone's just trying to prove they're right and nobody's listening? Or have there been times when you've been slandered, misunderstood, and you feel the urge to jump in and explain, to clear your name? This is a common pitfall that many people fall into, a terrible waste of energy. Napoleon Hill, through his research, pointed out, instead of trying to explain or refute, focus on building and let time and results prove your worth. This is a powerful and wise philosophy. When you try to explain yourself to people who don't want to understand, you're lowering yourself to their level. You're allowing them to drag you into a fight you can't win because their goal isn't to understand you, but to pull you down. Consider the story of Abraham Lincoln during the American Civil War. He faced numerous criticisms, hate-filled letters, and even personal attacks from the press and his political opponents. They called him a fool, a dictator, and even a destroyer of the Constitution. Surely, Lincoln felt angry, frustrated, and hurt. He could have spent his time writing lengthy rebuttals or engaging in public arguments with his critics. But Lincoln didn't do that. He understood that his energy was finite and precious. He focused on building a strong army, fostering national unity, and shaping a vision for America's future. He let time and results prove his worth. In the end, history vindicated his significant contributions, not the fleeting criticisms. It was his patience and ability to prioritize the greater good over petty squabbles that transformed him into a great president. This is also why Napoleon Hill emphasized the importance of avoiding pointless arguments and preserving one's dignity. In a world full of drama and unnecessary confrontations, maintaining elegance and dignity is a rare form of strength. When you refuse to participate in arguments, you not only protect your inner peace, but also elevate yourself to another level. Think about Bill Gates. Throughout his career, especially when Microsoft reached its peak, he and the company faced many legal battles, accusations of monopoly, and harsh criticism from competitors. Instead of getting bogged down in endless arguments, Gates focused on developing products, innovating technology, and building a solid foundation for Microsoft. He let Microsoft's innovations and achievements speak for themselves. His silence wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a testament to his confidence in what he was building. Napoleon Hill taught that silence and dignity are powerful expressions of self-control. When you choose silence in the face of provocation, When you decide to preserve your dignity instead of stooping to self-deprecating arguments, you're demonstrating an extraordinary inner power. You're showing that you're in control of the game, not a pawn being manipulated by others. You don't need to prove anything with words. Your actions and results will speak for themselves. So, learn to be patient. Trust the process. Focus on sowing good seeds with your actions and your work. Don't rush to harvest, and don't rush to explain. Time will be the fairest witness. And when the results appear, they will be the most potent answer to all doubts and criticisms. When you do this, you not only protect your energy, but you also build a strong reputation based on action and results, not just empty words. That's the path to true self-mastery and a life full of dignity. Now that we've absorbed the lesson of letting time speak and choosing dignity, we're ready to face an aspect that many people fear the most: rejection. We have all experienced rejection, and it's often excruciating. But is there a way to turn this rejection into a source of strength? A factor that helps us become more resilient, unbreakable? In the next section, we'll explore how rejection can build a resilient person. This is the key to seeing every rejection as a lesson, an opportunity to improve and rise stronger than ever before. Earlier, we explored the power of letting time speak and choosing dignity over gossip. We learned how not to waste energy on pointless arguments and to let the results of our actions speak for themselves. Now, we're going to confront one of humanity's greatest fears: rejection. Every single one of us has experienced the sting of rejection, and it usually hurts. But is there a way to transform this rejection into a source of strength, something that helps us become tougher, unbreakable? Today, we're going to discover that rejection builds an unbreakable person. Do you remember that feeling when you pour your heart and soul into something, an idea, a project, a proposal, and then you get a shake of the head, a slammed door, or a no? It's not a pleasant feeling. It can make you doubt yourself, make you want to give up. We often view rejection as a personal failure, a sign of our shortcomings. However, Napoleon Hill, through his research on individuals who achieved extraordinary success, revealed a completely different philosophy. He understood that. Learn to view rejection as a lesson, an opportunity to improve and become more resilient. This isn't about denying your feelings. You have every right to feel sad or disappointed. But what matters is what you do with that emotion. Look at the story of Walt Disney. Before building his multi-billion-dollar entertainment empire, he faced numerous rejections. He was once fired from a newspaper because he lacked ideas and imagination. Many banks initially rejected his Disneyland theme park project for funding, seeing it as a crazy and unrealistic idea. Can you imagine being flat-out rejected, even laughed at by the very people who held the power to say yes? But Disney didn't see those rejections as the end. He viewed them as lessons. Each rejection was a piece of feedback that helped him refine his ideas, present them better, and find new paths. He turned slammed doors into motivation to find other doors, or even to build a new door himself. It was by learning to see rejection as an opportunity to improve that he overcame every obstacle and built one of the world's most beloved entertainment brands. That's the kind of person who cannot be broken by rejection. Napoleon Hill constantly emphasized the importance of having a definite chief aim and unwavering persistence. When you have a goal big enough and you persistently pursue it, rejections will be minor obstacles on your path. He taught that. When you act as though nothing can hurt you, you dare to take bigger risks and become the architect of your destiny. What does this mean? When you've cultivated an invulnerable spirit in the face of rejection, you'll no longer be afraid to try new things, to dare to face bigger risks. You won't hesitate to send another cold email, make another sales call, or apply for a dream job that seems out of reach, because you know that even if you're rejected, it's just a lesson, a stepping stone to becoming better. Think about Oprah Winfrey. Before becoming the media queen, she was fired from a TV reporter position for being too emotional and not suitable for TV news. Imagine that, rejected for the very thing that made her who she was. Many people would see that as a catastrophic failure and give up. But Oprah didn't do that. She turned that rejection into motivation to find a different path, where she could use her very emotions to connect with millions of people. She dared to take risks by venturing into talk shows, where she could truly be herself. And we all know the result. She became an architect of destiny, a symbol of success and power. Rejection isn't a roadblock. It's a door that opens new paths. It's an opportunity to reevaluate, assess, and find better approaches. Every time you're rejected, you learn something. You become wiser, more skillful, and more resilient. The scars from rejection will form your unbreakable armor. Napoleon Hill taught that to achieve greatness, one needs courage. And this courage isn't the absence of fear, but acting despite fear. When you're no longer afraid of rejection, you'll dare to step out of your comfort zone, dare to take risks, and dare to pursue your biggest dreams. You will become the architect of your destiny, not a victim of circumstance. So, change the way you see rejection. Don't let it break you down. Let it be a harsh but fair teacher, one that will help you become tougher, stronger, and ready to face every challenge on the path to success. You'll realize that the most successful people aren't those who are never rejected, but those who learn to turn rejection into a launching pad for greatness. Now that we've transformed rejection into a source of strength, one final lesson will perfectly conclude our journey of building inner strength. It's about rising without announcement, acting in silence. In a world constantly seeking attention, quietly building success is one of the most potent expressions of self-mastery. In the next section, we'll explore the secret of rising without announcement and acting in silence. This is the key to letting your results speak for themselves and achieving genuine respect without any fanfare. Have you ever noticed that the truly great people, the ones who create lasting value, are usually not the loudest, nor are they always seeking the spotlight? On the contrary, they're often the ones who work silently, quietly, and let their actions speak for themselves. In an age where everyone wants to show off and be seen, building success quietly, without needing attention or praise, is an art form and also a potent source of strength. Napoleon Hill, through his research, proved that true power doesn't need to be announced. It manifests through results. He observed that competent people with vision usually don't need to say much. They dedicate their energy to acting, to building, to creating value. And when that value is great enough, it automatically attracts attention, respect, and recognition, without them having to utter a single word. Look at the story of Henry Ford once more. When he developed the Model T and the assembly line, he faced numerous criticisms, doubts, and even contempt from competitors and the media. They thought the idea of mass-producing cars for everyone was crazy, that his car would never be competitive. Ford could have gone public to argue, to explain, to defend his honor, but he didn't. He chose to act in silence. He dedicated all his energy and passion to researching, experimenting, and improving the production process. He built success quietly, step by step, car by car. He let his results speak for themselves. And when millions of Model Ts were sold, when the automobile became a common means of transportation, all the criticisms faded away. His success became the most eloquent declaration, without any loud applause or announcements. This is a vital lesson in the digital age, where everyone aspires to become an influencer by showcasing their accomplishments. Napoleon Hill warned that, "Don't seek attention. Let success speak for you." Constantly seeking attention and external praise can make you vulnerable and cause you to lose focus. You'll live to please others rather than to achieve your own goals. Or think about Jeff Bezos and the early days of Amazon. When he first conceived the idea of selling books online, it wasn't a very appealing prospect to many. He and his team worked incredibly hard, quietly building the platform and perfecting customer service. They didn't hold noisy press conferences or massive marketing campaigns from the start. They built success quietly, step by step, order by order, customer by customer. And when Amazon grew, becoming a massive e-commerce empire, it was the results themselves that spoke volumes. Bezos let his success do the announcing. He didn't need to boast or seek praise. The power of Amazon and Bezos himself lay in actual results, not in empty words. So, learn to work in silence. Focus on honing your skills, developing your ideas, and building a solid foundation for your future. Don't rush to announce your goals or boast about immature achievements. Let your actions and the results you create become the most powerful proof of your competence and vision. When you do this, you not only protect your energy from unnecessary distractions, but also build a genuine reputation and lasting respect from those who matter. Your strength won't be in your words, but in who you are, in what you accomplish. That's how you truly rise, steadily and with dignity. Now that we've absorbed the lesson of rising in silence and letting results speak for themselves, one final question will help us complete the fortress of our inner strength. How do we deal with people who never want to understand you, those who might intentionally distort or misrepresent things? Should we spend energy trying to explain ourselves to them? In the next section, we'll explore the lesson of stopping explaining yourself to small minds. This is the key to maintaining your focus, protecting your energy, and moving forward unencumbered by unnecessary words. Last time, we explored the power of rising in silence, letting your results speak for themselves without needing attention or praise. Now that you've absorbed the lesson of acting quietly, a final question will help us complete the fortress for our inner strength. How do we deal with people who never want to understand you, those who might intentionally distort or misrepresent things? Should we spend energy trying to explain ourselves to them? Today, we're going to explore the lesson of stopping explaining yourself to small minds. Have you ever been in this situation? You have an idea, a vision, or a plan, and you try to explain it as meticulously and logically as possible. But then, you're met with blank stares, sneering dismissals, or baseless rebuttals. You feel like you're talking to a brick wall. Your energy drains, and you wonder if you're wasting your time. Napoleon Hill, through his research on hundreds of the most successful people in history, pointed out a harsh but fundamental truth. Don't waste energy explaining to people who have decided not to understand you. This is one of the most practical pieces of advice for protecting your energy and focus. You can't change the mind of someone who has stubbornly decided not to change, and trying to do so will only exhaust you. Revisit the story of Steve Jobs, particularly during the period when he returned to Apple and introduced the iMac. At that time, Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy, and the tech world and press constantly doubted Jobs' capabilities. They thought he was a has-been, that Apple would never recover. Jobs could have spent hours explaining his vision, arguing with every critic, every dissatisfied shareholder. But he didn't. He understood that those who had decided not to understand him would never do so, no matter what he said. He chose not to waste energy explaining. Instead, he focused on a single goal: reviving Apple by creating groundbreaking, simple, and beautiful products. He let his actions speak for themselves, and the iMac, and later the iPod and iPhone, became the most powerful statements, silencing all doubts. That's powerful proof that persistence, combined with focusing on action, can create greatness. Napoleon Hill always emphasized that perseverance breeds greatness. Perseverance isn't just about continuing to do something despite difficulties. It's also the ability to maintain focus, not letting yourself be distracted by useless noise. When you try to explain yourself to people who don't want to understand, you're creating distractions for yourself. You're wasting energy that could otherwise be used to build, to grow. Or consider the story of Walt Disney with his Disneyland project. When he presented the idea of a large-scale amusement park to the banks, many dismissed it as a silly and unrealistic idea. They couldn't see Disney's vision. He could have been discouraged, having to try to convince each person individually. But Disney didn't explain. He focused on making his dream a reality. He used his own money, borrowed from anyone who believed in him, and diligently built Disneyland. He let his actions speak for themselves. And when the park opened, it was a resounding success, proving his vision was right. Those who once doubted him had to reconsider. So, learn to identify small minds, those who have closed their minds to new ideas, to different truths. Please don't waste your energy trying to break down the walls they've built for themselves. Instead, focus on your goals. Pour all your energy into building, developing, and creating concrete results. Napoleon Hill taught that the most successful people aren't the best at defending or explaining themselves. They are the best at acting, and they let their actions prove everything. When you do this, you not only protect your energy, but also boost your self-confidence and credibility. You become someone people respect for what you do, not for what you say. Remember, the best explanation isn't words, it's results. Let your success speak for itself, more powerfully and convincingly than any explanation. That's how you truly master your life, unburdened by useless things. Now that we've learned to stop wasting energy explaining ourselves to people who don't want to understand, we're ready for the final and most profound lesson in this journey. That's the ability to face the toughest challenges, to endure pain, but without letting it destroy or corrupt us. How do you walk through fire without leaving ashes? In the next section, we'll explore the secret of walking through fire without leaving ashes, adapting like water. This is the key to carrying the lesson, but leaving the bitterness behind and becoming stronger than ever before. In the last part, we explored the importance of no longer wasting energy explaining ourselves to small minds, focusing on our goals, and letting our actions speak for themselves. Now, to complete the picture of inner strength, we come to a final and most profound lesson: the ability to walk through fire without leaving a trace. How do you face the harshest challenges, endure pain, but without letting it destroy or corrupt you? How do you adapt like water? Life, you know, isn't always a bed of roses. There will be times when you have to walk through fire, periods of extreme difficulty, pain that seems unbearable, losses that break you. And the question isn't whether you'll face those fires, but how you'll walk through them. Will you let them burn you to ashes? Or will you learn to face the challenges, endure the pain, without being destroyed or corrupted by it? Napoleon Hill, through his studies of individuals who achieved great success, observed a common trait among them: an extraordinary ability to adapt and recover from adversity. He understood that to achieve greatness, one must go through tough challenges. However, the important thing is that you must carry the lesson, but leave the bitterness behind. Like a river, it never stops flowing, even if rocks block its path. It's not bitter about those rocks. It simply finds a way to continue its journey. Look at the story of Viktor Frankl once more. He went through the most horrific things in Nazi concentration camps, losing his entire family, being tortured both physically and mentally. That was the most terrible fire a human could face. Frankl endured extreme pain, but he didn't let it destroy or corrupt him. He didn't let hatred or despair take over his soul. Instead, he carried the lesson of the meaning of life, the power of the human will, and the ability to choose one's attitude even in the harshest circumstances. But he left the bitterness behind. After being liberated, he didn't dwell on the painful past, but focused on rebuilding his life, sharing his valuable lessons with the world through his book, Man's Search for Meaning. He walked through fire, but he left no ashes of hatred, only the flame of wisdom and compassion. This is a compelling philosophy. Peace comes from letting go of control. We often try to control everything around us, from small events to major crises. But life doesn't always go our way. When you accept that there are things you can't control, and you learn to let go of the need to control everything, you'll find true peace. Look at the story of Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. Before his resounding success, he faced numerous failures, failing college entrance exams multiple times, being rejected by over 30 companies when applying for jobs, and even being turned down by KFC. When he started Alibaba, he also faced skepticism, financial difficulties, and fierce competition. Those were real fires. But Jack Ma didn't let those failures destroy him. He learned to adapt like water. He didn't try to fight the current. Instead, he found ways to bend, flow, and discover new paths. He carried the lessons from each failure, learning to adjust his strategies and approach customers more effectively. And most importantly, he left the bitterness behind. He maintained an optimistic spirit, a smile always on his face, and an unwavering belief in the future. It was this ability that transformed Alibaba from a small startup into one of the world's largest technology conglomerates. Napoleon Hill taught that, to achieve peace and inner strength, one needs the ability to control one's mind. A crucial part of maintaining your mind is the ability to accept what you cannot change and focus on what you can. When you can do that, you'll find yourself able to walk through any fire without leaving ashes of destruction. You'll become purified, stronger, and more serene. Practice this every day. When a bad event happens, allow yourself to feel the pain, but don't cling to it. Seek the lesson in it, and then bravely let go of the bitterness, the anger. Learn to adapt, bending yourself to the flow of life rather than fighting it. Because true peace comes from letting go of control and accepting that everything has its reason. When you've absorbed this lesson, you'll realize that you are not only stronger, but also much freer. You'll be able to face any challenge life throws at you and walk through them with resilience, serenity, and without leaving any scars on your soul. You'll become a flame that cannot be burned out, a river that cannot be stopped. And that is the final secret, but also the culmination of all the lessons we've experienced. When you've deeply absorbed all of this, from transforming pain into strength, to controlling emotions, ignoring what doesn't matter, practicing self-restraint, staying calm like a mountain, letting go of the need for validation, not revealing weaknesses, letting time speak, accepting rejection, rising in silence, and walking through fire without leaving ashes, you will reach a transcendent state. you will become something much, much greater. In the final part of this series, we'll summarize and affirm that you become an unstoppable force. This is when you realize your limitless potential. In the last part, we explored a profound lesson: the ability to walk through fire without leaving ashes, learning to face challenges and endure pain without being destroyed or corrupted by it, just like water. We've come a long way on this journey of building inner strength, from transforming pain into power, controlling what doesn't matter, to practicing self-restraint, staying calm, letting go of the need for validation, protecting our inner world, and rising in silence. Now, we're ready for the final affirmation, a truth that will bring together everything you've learned. You become an unstoppable force. Have you ever felt small in the face of life's gigantic challenges? The pressures from work, relationship issues, or even self-doubt, they can make you feel weak. But I want you to know that's just a temporary feeling. When you truly internalize the lessons we've explored together, you'll realize a profound truth. When you live with the conviction that nothing can harm me, you make the seemingly impossible possible. This isn't just empty words. This is a working principle of the mind, distilled by Napoleon Hill from the greatest people of all time. This belief isn't a denial of pain or difficulty. It's an acceptance that pain will come, but you have the inner strength not to be defeated by it. It's an inner resilience, a mental fortress that no force can breach. When you genuinely believe you're invulnerable, you'll act differently. You'll think differently, and the world around you will respond differently too. Look at the life of Martin Luther King Jr. He faced extreme racial discrimination, death threats, violent attacks, and even opposition from the government. He could have sunk into fear, anger, or despair. But King lived with the ironclad belief that nothing could harm him, at least not his spirit and his noble cause. He believed in righteousness, in the power of love, and nonviolence. That very mindset gave him an energy source that transcended physical, mental, and emotional limitations. It helped him stand firm before hostile crowds, deliver inspiring speeches, and lead a great civil rights movement. Others sense who you are, and they respect you for it. They didn't just respect King's words, they respected his character, his composure, and his unwavering faith. He made the seemingly impossible ending of racial segregation peacefully possible because he was an unstoppable force from within. Napoleon Hill taught that to achieve anything significant, you need strong faith. That faith isn't just about believing good things will happen. It's about believing in your ability and knowing that you can overcome any obstacle. When you internalize the belief that nothing can harm me, you'll unleash a hidden source of energy. It's the energy of confidence, courage, and limitless perseverance. Or look at Nelson Mandela once more. 27 years in prison was a terrible trial by fire, but he walked through it without leaving ashes. When he walked out of prison, he wasn't a bitter, hateful man, but a symbol of reconciliation and hope. He lived with the belief that nothing could harm him, nothing could take away his free will, and his vision for a peaceful South Africa. That belief transformed him into an unstoppable force. He carried an energy of forgiveness and harmony, transcending all divisions. Others sense who you are. They sensed his integrity, his courage, and his unwavering resolve. And because of that, they respected him, followed him, and built a new nation with him. When you've gone through all these lessons, you've built a strong fortress for your mind and spirit. You've learned to listen to yourself, to protect your energy, to transform pain into strength. You're no longer a dry leaf swept away by the wind. You are a deeply rooted ancient tree, standing firm against every storm. You become an unstoppable force. This is when you realize that what others say, what the world throws at you, no longer has the power to define or hurt you. You are the master of your destiny. You are the architect of your reality. You've the power to make the seemingly impossible possible, because you've mastered the most critical world, your inner world. Live with this belief every day. Let it permeate every thought, every action. You don't need to seek power from external sources. True power is already within you. Awaken it, nurture it, and let it shine. Remember, strength is built from adversity, not ease. Your mindset determines your reality. Faith isn't just spoken, it's lived. Self-confidence attracts opportunities. Life reflects the deep beliefs you hold within. And the most successful people are those who dare to step into uncertainty with an unshakable belief that nothing can harm them. Are you ready to become an unstoppable force? We've just wrapped up a deep and meaningful journey together, exploring the secrets to building inner strength, self-mastery, and how to face every difficulty in life with resilience and calm. Through Napoleon Hill's great philosophies, we've unlocked life-changing truths that will help you not just survive, but truly thrive amidst every storm. Napoleon Hill once said, "When you live with the belief that nothing can harm me, you make the seemingly impossible possible." This isn't just a saying. This is a universal principle, a promise for those who dare to believe and act. Can you feel the energy rising within you? The energy that transcends physical, mental, and emotional limits. The energy that transforms you from a passive individual into a creator. Others sense who you are, and they respect you for it. Don't just watch this video. Turn these lessons into a compass for your life. Start right now. Pick one lesson you feel you need most, and practice it every day. Lean into discomfort. Don't shy away from what makes you uncomfortable. That's where true strength is forged. Act in silence. Let your results speak for themselves, more powerfully than any explanation. Believe in yourself. You have enough strength to overcome anything. This belief is your most precious asset. Remember, strength is built from adversity, not ease. Your mindset determines your reality. Faith isn't just spoken, it's lived. Self-confidence attracts opportunities. Life reflects the deep beliefs you hold within. And the most successful people are those who dare to step into uncertainty with an unshakable belief that nothing can harm them. Are you ready to not just succeed, but to live a whole, serene life and become an unstoppable force? If you're ready, hit the subscribe button on my channel and tap the notification bell so you don't miss any videos on your journey to becoming the greatest version of yourself. Leave a comment below, sharing your favorite lesson or how you've applied these philosophies to your life. I'd love to hear your story. Thank you all for joining me on this journey. See you in the following videos.